Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. Thank you so much to those of you that have recently subscribed. This is part one of this massive tidy and sort out of my daughter's bedroom. So there's a couple of other things, but predominantly it's a massive declutter, sort out, tidy up, clean of her bedroom. And really what I've done is taken your advice where you've said about just focus on one room, and I thought, okay, what room do we need to focus on that needs to be hers? So we have spent hours sorting it out, clearing out. I've got bags for rubbish, I've got bags for the charity shop, bags for our sale. You would be so proud. Now, if you're watching this for the first time or you haven't subscribed, I don't very often ask for this, but please, will you hit on the like button? Will you click on the subscribe button? It's really helping me, and something I haven't yet shared with people. But what I'm hoping to do is I do get a very small amount of money from my channel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose 2 months where anything I make, I'm going to give to Natasha's Allergy Foundation. So that was a charity which has been set up. Please read up about Natasha if you don't know about the charity. It's a charity within the United Kingdom. So if you subscribe to my channel, if you watch this a little bit longer than what you normally would, it will all really help me. Because the more you watch, the more you like, the more you subscribe, I will get a bit more money. And for 2 months, I'm going to give that directly to Natasha's Allergy Foundation. Allergies now impact so many young people and adults, and Natasha's Allergy Foundation are doing an awful lot of work to ask the government to look into things more, to help people in many different ways. So that's what I've decided to do. So I hope you all think it's a good idea. You can see me at the moment sorting out my piles and piles of washing. This has really got into quite a bad way. What I find really hard, and someone said to me the other day, well, if you're working on a project, what are you doing like a full cooked meal for? That had never really struck me, that if I'm working on a project, I should just try to do something simpler and easier in the kitchen. And obviously, if I do something simpler and easier in the kitchen, I then have more time to spend on doing the things like the washing, which I should be doing all the time. But the washing has got into a bit of a state. I've got, 2 basket loads absolutely full there. The chair piled up. It's like a laundry mountain at the moment. So I was filling one of my bags up of all my daughter's things, and I thought, well, if I can just get a load of her clothes put away, that'll be me starting off with the work in her room. And then I came back a little bit later and I got another load. So I've managed to put all her washing away today. Haven't done any of the others, but you can only do one thing at a time, can't you? I can't be in 3 different places at once. So I start off on this video where I go through, double check a couple of things just by the wardrobe. There was a couple of items of clothing that I put there to put away, but then I thought, oh, do these need to be washed? So I needed to double check them. But they were actually clean things that I'd put up there ages ago. Things from holiday, I think that's what it was. I also managed to go through a few items of clothing that she doesn't want anymore, doesn't fit into anymore. We have a bit of a struggle with socks in our house. It's ridiculous. I feel like I buy socks on quite a regular basis. And then my daughter really struggles to put the socks on herself. I think it's because when I put them on the hot wash, that shrinks them a little bit, doesn't it? So then it's quite hard to get them on your feet. Obviously, I don't have any white socks, so I don't tend to have that problem. But I decided I wanted to get away from having to help my daughter with her socks every day, given that she's nearly 12. So we bought some bigger sizes of socks, and then I was able to get rid of some of the smaller ones, which just seem to have, shrunk a little bit, and they're really difficult to get on your foot. So I bought loads of socks the other day. So I think I probably got rid of about 6 or 7 items of clothes, as well as some socks, which will just go to rags. So that was good while I was putting some of the things away. And I was in the mood to get rid of a lot of things. So there were some things that I'm sure I would have thought, oh, I'll keep hold of that. I like that, her wearing that dress. But today I was just in the mood of thinking, we're going to create space in her room. We're going to make strides. We're going to get rid of things. We're going to get rid of lots of things. And we're going to also get rid of lots of dust. There are areas in her room that have started getting builds up of dust because we can't reach them very well. I just haven't pulled them out for quite some time. So I decided that I really would do a lot of cleaning as well. And it's quite incredible actually. You'll see me doing a bit of hoovering, but when I looked at my little handheld hoover and how much I'd actually picked up, I was like, goodness me, this is in her room. This is not helping with her allergies. So now I've cleared so much more of the room, and you'll see that in this part 1 and also part 2. You'll see how it's now going to be much easier to keep tidy. That's my aspiration, to get rid of loads of things. And then, like you've all said, it's going to be much easier to keep on top of things. Also, on the top of her chest of drawers, where it looks very cluttered, there's a money box she got bought. I think it was for her christening. And I felt from her aunt, I felt really sad because somehow it got knocked off and smashed. And I felt really sad about it. And my husband glued it all up. And she's been using it. But realistically, it's got like socks. And I just thought, if this was like downstairs on my mantelpiece and it was something that was smashed so badly that I was fond of, I would still make the decision to think, I'm going to have to get rid of this ornament because it's smashed so badly. I can actually remember having an ornament that came from my grandmother's house, where it was like this little cat ornament. It all dressed in clothes and holding a little cat in a basket. And I think at some point, like, it had been cracked twice, the head had come off and something else had come off, and it had been glued back together again. And as a child, I remember looking at that and thinking, why did anybody ever glue that up? It's so badly smashed. Why did they glue that up? And you couldn't hide the join. It's different when you can hide the join. Of course, in Japan, they seal it sometimes with gold, don't they? To show that actually it's not an imperfection and they make it into like art. But with this, I remember thinking, why has that been kept? And I thought about that as I looked at the mushroom that has been glued up. And I thought, really, we just need to bin that. So I said to my daughter, look, this was really badly smashed. It's such a shame because you've had it since for a long time and you liked using it, but should we just get rid of it? Because the thing is so badly cracked and marked with the holes and little pieces missing. And she said, yeah, put it in the bin. So that was exactly what we did. So that was good. And there's a few other things that I just want to tidy up on that chest of drawers. I'd like to have about half the number of things up there, and then it'll be much easier just to wipe round and dust with a damp cloth. So that's my aspiration. So I managed to get all these clothes away. I know the drawers look absolutely jam-packed, but I was also quite strict with some uniform too. There were a couple of blouses that were a bit small for her, but a couple where the collars have worn quite badly. And I'm sure in the past I think, oh, I can get a bit more wear of them. But I just thought, no, they're not the right, even they're a bit tight. They're very badly worn. I'm getting rid of them. So they went into the bag as well. And then there were some other couple of other things which were like ages 7 to 8, which she's really liked wearing, but again they're too small, so we got rid of those as well. I'm funny with things because watching this video back and then seeing the little mushroom toadstool thing, I start thinking, oh, should I go and get it out of the bin? I'm silly with that, aren't I? Really am. It's all smashed and broken. I've got a couple of updates for you. So for those of you that have followed me for a while, you'd have heard me about my volunteering with the Guiding Association. And there's a couple of things coming up. So firstly, there was a district meeting where I couldn't actually attend, and they all decided that they're going to open another guide unit. And what they're going to do is the waiting list that I have worked so hard, and you will know the background, won't you, of all the different things I've done. To after COVID, I felt like the girls had missed out on so much, so I've done loads of work to create a really good programme. So that means we've had a waiting list for the first time. Now, I've been helping at Guide since I was 17, and this is the first time we've ever had 30 girls in the group and a waiting list of about 10. So in their wisdom, these other people have decided that they're going to open a new Guide group, and all the people on the waiting list that I've created are going to be invited to this new Guide group. Now, it's not very well thought through, because next year I've got like 8 girls all leaving at the same time. So then if I don't have a waiting list, then our group's going to be low on numbers. But anyway, so this is going to be staffed by all existing volunteers. So I wasn't asked anything about this, and I suddenly saw on the WhatsApp group, "Oh, Emma, what Mondays can you volunteer on?" So they're running 4 sessions and they need existing volunteers to cover them. So I sort of looked at the dates and just thought, well, I don't really agree with it in principle anyway, and nobody's asked me. There's sort of an expectation that I'm now going to give up more Mondays. And what's worse is the leader that I do guides with, she's very similar to me. Well, actually, she's not similar to me, but we work really well together. The things that she's good at, she focuses on. The things that I'm good at, I focus on. So that works. But there's a couple of other leaders which really, in my humble opinion, they shouldn't be working with young people. They really shouldn't be working with young people. Their approach to speaking to young people, dealing with young people, is so vastly different to mine. And actually, like some of the people that I know have in the local area have withdrawn their children from guiding because of how these people have spoken to the young people. So even if I was free on some of these Mondays, I'm not really keen on going along to support people where I don't really, with their approach to the youngsters. And then the other issue is that they're doing a sleepover in February, and I have been sent, I kid you not, 6 messages asking me to sign up for it. Well, I feel like in the summer holidays, I am on holiday from Guides. Anyway, I finally checked the date to see if it was a date that I could do, and it's half term in February, which is not a date that I want to commit to at this stage. So I emailed the lady who's head in our area and just explained how I wasn't at the meeting, and I don't really support having all the waiting list of my girls being put onto a new group. And then I said, I'm not sure about the date in February. And she's messaged back to say, well, the new guide group's not going to go ahead unless we have volunteers. Please write down what Mondays you can do. And as for the date in February, please confirm on the system that you can cover, because we need to get more volunteers, and I'll let the person organising it know that you might not be able to come. So it just really felt like I wasn't actually being listened to. So comments, please, and thoughts about what I should do about those things. I mean, I haven't really got the time, have I, to give up more Mondays for another guide group that's going to take all the people from my guides. So you can see what I'm doing at the moment, and I've got so much clutter on the picture, isn't there? But I'm going through all her dressing up clothes. So there's some dressing up clothes that last time we went to this box, she said, oh, I can fit in this. And it was like so tight. But this time she said, oh no, I really like that medieval dress, but that can go. That's too small for me. So it's a couple of things that I will try to sell. And I know a number of you say, just get rid of it, give it to charity. But what I do try to do is I make a choice decision about them. Some things I just know best to get out of the house and get rid of them. But something like that medieval dress, I do think that will sell quite well on Marketplace. And even if it just gets a few pounds, I then put that in her money box for her savings. So I went through so many things that were underneath her bed. And then what we've changed is the dressing up box Has a couple of bits still that she fits into and still likes. And then we've also put handbags and spare purses in there. So that's been really good. That mirror that I just now passed to my daughter, some of you will probably scream at me for this, but we found that along the road, advertised for free to anyone that wants to take it. And my daughter said, oh, that'll look lovely on my top of my boxes. And she does quite like the idea of like her doing her nails, and she's got like a little manicure set. So I thought that'd be quite nice. And as she gets older, she could sit in front of that mirror and dry her hair, is what I thought. And the mirror is all in really nice condition. And it's got a little section at the front that you lift up, and she's already put her manicure and her nail varnishes into it. So I thought, well, that's nice. Doesn't take up much space, makes the room look bright. You'll see it in a little while when I change the video round. So I thought that would make her feel pleased and sort of help one step further to where we want to go with the bedroom changes. So I'm going to take a few moments to go through some of you lovely people's comments. So you know how much I appreciate your comments. Whatever your comments, short or long, I read every single one and I very much appreciate them. So Pam says, hi Emma, gosh, what a task to go through all those tiny bits and bobs in your daughter's room. Pam, this is kind of takes those bits and bobs to a whole new level on this video and part 2, which is coming in a couple of days. I'm going to help my daughter when the kiddies are back to school. My grandson has a few boxes that are labelled a box of doom, 1, 2 and 3, all full of very small toys that came from those £1 machines. McDonald's toys, pocket money toys, etc, etc. He won't part with anything willingly and gets upset when there's even a mention of clearing out the toys he doesn't play with. They just don't have the room though. It's his birthday soon and he'll just add to the vast amount he has. My granddaughter has just as much, but doesn't periodically ask for a toy from when she was a baby, so we'll go through hers, but only declutter ones that aren't complete. Both children are very careful with their toys, so there won't be any broken ones. That would make it easier, I'm sure. Your bathroom looked much better after your clear out. I've never considered how to dispose of sun lotions, etc. It's never occurred to me that I couldn't just put them in the bin. I wonder if there's a facility at the recycling centre. Got me thinking about that now. As always, lovely to see you. Pam, I'm afraid that my big bag of sun creams is still sitting in the hall because I'm really worried about putting them in the bin because of the toxins they will leak into the landfill or wherever they go. Probably not even the United Kingdom, because nowadays we seem to ship all of our disgusting rubbish to other places in the world. I'm the same with batteries. I really worry about putting batteries in the bin because I know, again, batteries can leak and the environmental impact can affect, for years afterwards. And certainly with batteries and also with these repellents, sun creams and so on, that says do not allow to enter into a watercourse, can have like life-changing impacts on the environment or some wording. So I'm very careful with that. I think if I took it through into the chemist, they'd probably look at me like I was mad. So I asked my dad, and my dad said just put them in the bin. He said everyone else is putting them in the bin, so don't worry about it. Karen Howard said if any of the wicker baskets get cleared out, there'd be space to move the overflow clothes from the dresser. Smile. Indeed, Karen. I do clear one out. I clear one out by getting rid of things and then shoving all the things that were left into the other 4. So we've now got an extra place for books. So you'll see that in this video. Now, can you see that rug that I'm now lifting up and cleaning around? Bit of a story to that rug. So that rug was actually made by my husband's dad. And it was made when my husband was about 8, I think. And his sister was, 12 or something. Maybe even younger. Maybe my husband was about 6. And years ago, my sister-in-law, so my husband's sister, was having a car boot sale. And we went along and we saw various things on her stall. And my husband spotted this rug. And he said, that's not yours to sell. That belongs to both of us. So she said, well, take it then. So we took it And of course, my daughter's had it in her room for quite some time. But I've asked her today, does she still want it? And she said no, she's finished with it. She doesn't want it anymore, which is absolutely fine. But I'm going to put it up into storage because I just feel something like that, which has been handmade. If my daughter does have any children, then I think it'd be nice for them to have it. I mean, they'll probably at that point look at me and say, what on earth do I want with that? But still, that'll be the option, won't it? It's lovely, the history behind it, how my father-in-law made it, etc, etc. So you can see how when I pull this out, you can see like the dust under there. It's really, really quite bad. I didn't tend to think that there'd be dust like underneath that dresser on the carpet, because you sort of think, well, how does the dust actually get there? Because there's hardly any space between those 4 cupboard units and the floor. But I went all over that and cleaned, and then I pulled this container all the way out. Yeah, and you do see I bumped my head twice. One time quite hard. I sort of forgot where the top was. Managed to bump my head. So I also tried to do your suggestions. So you know the rattan boxes units, the Calex boxes. I tried to move that under the bed, which quite a few of you have suggested. Can you believe it's about a centimetre too tall? So I thought that these box units and the rattan box units were the same height, but they're not. This is slightly smaller and designed to go underneath the bed, and the Calex boxes are not designed to go under the bed. So I moved everything around and then realised it was impossible. Also, a couple of people have said about memory boxes, and I'd completely forgotten that I had created one of these units as like a memory kind of little cupboard. So they're only small, these little 4 boxes, but the one at the top left are all like memory bits and pieces. And then what I've decided is once that then overflows, then I'm going to do what you've all said. Make the things fit the space, not the space take over. So I will take everything out, and me and my daughter can go through them together and decide what to get rid of. So also, there's a couple of things here which actually do belong to me. So I need to be conscious of that, just because I want to keep hold of something. So then the way of me keeping hold of it is giving it to my daughter, when actually she doesn't want it. So I've got my little walking, barking dog there that needs the batteries. But she said, oh, let's get it working again. There's a couple of toys there that she said, oh, I never liked that. Never really wanted that. I was like, right, quick, let's get rid of it. One Pokemon toy that she said she's going to give to her friends. So we created a bag of rubbish, a bag for the charity shop, a bag for our sale, and a bag for things that I know are going to get more money on Marketplace. And then what I'll do is I'll put it on Marketplace. If I get no interest, then I will then give to charity or put on the sale. So I was going through all these toys, and she was making a decision on which one she wanted. The reason why I laughed about the little red rabbit was because she said, is that a jelly cat? And as soon as she knew it was a jelly cat, she wanted to keep it. She does like jelly cats. But if it had been some other thing, then she'd have said, oh, we can get rid of that. I think at some point she's going to get all her jelly cat toys together and sit them all in one place, because she does like jelly cats. I do understand why. They are really nice toys. So you can see I did manage to get rid of quite a few things here. And so there's space there now to put some other toys in there. Okay, next comment that I wanted to go through. It's from Brooke. And actually, when I had my premiere today, I had a really nice chat with Brooke. Brooke was online at the same time as me. So we had a chat about lots of different things. So that was nice. Brooke says, glad to hear that you're taking the time to keep up with your kitchen. Sad to hear that you had problems with your car, but can hopefully make up your outing with your daughter. Yes, thank you. And we did as well. And I do think things happen for a reason, so I just don't think we were meant to use the car. The more I hear about her, the more of a special little girl she seems to be. Oh, I think she is, but I am biased, aren't I? I was given some stationery by a parent a few years ago that said, kids are my business, so that's my expert opinion. Oh, I also really like that outfit you're wearing. I think it might be the first time I've seen you bare feet. Yeah, I do. So it depends on the weather. And I like wearing my sort of flip-flops. I don't like in the summer particularly wearing my slippers. The slippers will come out of the cupboard again when the weather starts getting a bit cold. I missed that chicken decoration last time. Do you have a folding table? Set up a Lego in your lounge if you want them sold as sets. I just gave a box of some put together Lego and some knots to our pastor's 7-year-old son. Oh, that was nice of you. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I could just set out like a little table, couldn't I, and do a bit at a time. I think I'm going to have to start with putting all the colours like with like. I think that's what I need to do. Please remind yourself that it took years to accumulate all of these things, so it will take some time to purge them. Now, I've got something to own up to. When I spent all this time today, hours today, working on her bedroom, I suddenly thought to myself, yeah, I've done a couple of videos on my daughter's bedroom, and I've got rid of a few bits and pieces when I've done the videos. But actually, what I've allowed to happen is in the last sort of, how many years has she been in that bedroom? Nearly 9 years, I'd say. 8 to 9 years she moved into this room. She moved in when she was about 4. And in all that time, I've actually taken out very little. What has happened is every birthday, every Christmas, every Easter, every Valentine's, more and more and more things have just been added. I can't get round it to clean it properly because there's so much stuff. And that just made me think that actually what I've ended up creating is a much bigger job. Because if I'd have just done a little bit on a regular basis, I would have never had this situation, would I? But obviously, it's all about learning. But just made me think, in many ways, it's a bit like a time capsule, because there's like, hooray, you're 2 badge. It's your 3rd birthday in the wicker baskets. When I pulled out the wicker baskets, there was a Biff and Chip book from when she was first reading. So it must have been when she was about 4. And I thought, oh, all these things from all those years ago. I will play the devil's advocate with your containers of soap on the back of the toilet. Brooke says to me, designers tell us to use groups of 3. So really, I need to get that other one out and put it back on the back of the toilet in that case. Brooke says, I love the clip of the rabbits. My parents, had lop-eared rabbits when I was your daughter's age, up until I was in my early 20s. Well, I said to my daughter, if I could guarantee that a rabbit that I bought had the same nature as Sylvester, which is the rabbit's name, I would let her have one, because he is such a lovely, lovely rabbit. Brooke says, I've added a few short videos to my YouTube channel and should be adding another later this week. Our goat had kids. Oh my goodness, I'd not read that last paragraph until now, Brooke. Oh wow, I will be looking, once I've done this video voiceover, I'll be looking at your channel with a thought to show my daughter. My mum and my nephews, so her 2 grandchildren, they went to some event with goats. You could pay like for an hour to walk the goats, pet the goats, spend time with the goats. Oh my goodness, baby ones. So are you helping? Do you have to check on them on a regular basis? How's the mummy getting on? Oh, how lovely. So you can see like the amount of dust that had been accumulating on top of that container. And at this point, I asked my husband to come up and have a look to see what he thought about moving things round. Now, my daughter had the idea of like keeping the gap open, and I said that's not a good idea. People walk past your bedroom and look in, and they'll just see anything that you've got underneath your bed. So that's not a good idea. Then she suggested about having the brown bit outwards. But with that, I just thought, again, that doesn't look very nice. And then we decided to move this out and we were going to swap the units round. And you'll see that I do that, but what I should have probably done is just double check the measurement because it just wouldn't fit under. So that stayed where it is, but you'll see throughout this video and part 2, which will be in a few days, you'll see how I managed to sort out so much more of those baskets and so much more of the books. I've got rid of a pile of books that are going to charity shop, another pile of books that I'm giving away. I think I mentioned before, didn't I, about somebody at work who told me his granddad is Italian. It's interesting because he's got quite that sort of tan looking skin. So his granddad's Italian, and I think his parents spoke Italian, but Italian was never passed to him. So, oh no, let me get this right. It's his. So it's yeah, that is. This is the little child. So he's now had a little child, and he was like, when I was talking to him, he was like, "Wow, your daughter speaks Italian. That's amazing. I wonder whether my little boy could now learn." So I said to him that when I have my next sort out, any books that I thought were suitable, he could have for his son. So he was quite pleased about that. So I've sorted out about 8 books that we're going to give to his little boy. And also some more books that can be sold. I'll put on Facebook Marketplace. So that was really good. And I went through all the shelves with a damp cloth and cleaned them all. And I also managed to sort out the fireplace mantelpiece. But you'll see that in my part 2. All the stuff there with all the books, the rattan basket at the bottom I managed to clear out. And then what I use the rattan basket for is all the things that I need to put on eBay or put on Marketplace. I've just put in that rattan basket and stood it really neatly under my daughter's bed. And then I'm going to take photographs and I'm going to get things for sale. So I'm pleased with the progress that I've made here. She was also happy to get rid of a lot more books. So that was good. I am pleased though. She also said that she's not just saying yes to everything. Where there's particular books that she's really, really loved reading and she wants to read them again, she says, no, I want to keep that, which that's what I want. She's also made me laugh because she's done a couple of little clips and she's created her own videos that she's editing, which that started off being the diary of an 11, nearly 12-year-old, and now it's changed to the diary of a 12-year-old. And that starts off with when I talked to you the other day, the very first time that I gave her a list, which was like one of them was putting the washing on, and I taught her how to do the washing machine, and the other was to get the whitewashing in. And she starts with that, how mummy needed to do some work, so she gave me some jobs. And then she's recorded herself doing them all. But I said to her, if you now put these on your page or share them with anyone, they'll think that your mum's always getting you to do chores. People will just think, oh, I've been getting her to do this since she was like 6. Not the fact that was the very first time ever that she had been asked to do it. But then she's also done like a little clip of her doing the viola practice, and she's positioned the camera so you can't see her face because she knows that I don't allow her to go on to put her face on YouTube and put her face on social media. So she set it all up very cleverly, and she's done a fast forward. And then when I listen to her voiceover, she starts with, well, hello. And then at the end, she said, oh, please like and subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye. And it's literally like she's copied me. So it did really make me laugh. But Zoe, who'd said to me called her the other day, Mini Emma. I said to her, that you're being called Mini Emma. She laughed. She thought that was good. Where you just now see the curtain blowing, that's because I was just shaking the duster. And also, a few of the big cardboard things I got rid of, I've got to admit, I opened the window and threw them out. Because some of them are so big, it's really, really awkward to carry them all down the stairs. So I threw them out the window. And when I came down to go on a bike ride tonight, I was pleasantly surprised to see that my husband had picked them up. He'd seen them, he picked them all up and put them on the bin. So here you can see where it is, like about 1 centimetre too big to get under there, which is frustrating, isn't it? It looks like it's the same size, but it's literally about maybe 1 inch. You see, I'm mixing Imperial. Yeah, so it's just that tiny bit too small. So I could put the book stand under there on the side. Quite a few of you have suggested that, but I'm not really sure what I would gain. What would I gain by having that space in the corner? I don't think I'd really gain much. So I haven't done that. I've left it as it is. But rather than the bookshelf being absolutely full of stuff, crammed, it now looks much, much better, sorted out in a much better way. I'm now looking back at all the stuff on the floor and just thinking, goodness me, I can't quite believe how much I actually did do on this video. I did so much. Also, we took down part of the bunting. There's bunting that she's had from the age of about 6, so we took that down. I put that in her memory collects box, and then you'll see that I took out all the books and sort through all of the books. And her National Geographic magazines, which previously she said no, she didn't want to get rid of, she did a yes, no through all of those, and she agreed to get rid of lots. I then put an advert up with my friends, and 4 people wanted some, and we biked around and dropped them all off. So that was a good job done as well. And then you can just see that I'm trying to brush and damp wipe some of the little Stife toys which have got a bit dusty, which we've decided to put in the cabinet downstairs. I'm not sure whether that's a good or a bad idea, considering how packed my cupboards are in the lounge. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my mammoth sort out, and please do add comments down below with what you think that I've done right, what you think I've done wrong, what you think I need to do differently, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.